what's up, and welcome to another episode of Vintage Game Finder. Good to be back. I just came from the mailbox. As you saw, I have another package from another out-of-state connection. This time it is from the state of New Jersey. Want to give a shout out to Captain Dan, Game Master Sutton. That's his handle on Facebook. Thank you very much, bro. I appreciate it, and I hope your package got to you safely, because unfortunately mine did not. And this was something that I knew in the back of my head was eventually going to happen. And in my case, it happened with a trade for some Sega Saturn games, Sega Saturn North American game titles, and I'll go ahead and share that with you. And I will refer you to a site as well to help out with some kind of remedy if this situation ever happens to you, because it happens to me, and initially I have to say I wasn't happy, because he could have tried, on one hand he could have tried to package it a little bit better, but on the other hand I knew that by now, this many years after the Saturn was released, those game cases, they are very brittle, especially at the hinges. They will fall apart on you a lot quicker than you would expect, and it's a major design flaw that I always had a problem with Sega. I didn't have too many gripes with them, but the few gripes that I did have were those jewel cases, because in that time period, the DVD format wasn't widely prevalent. It wasn't out there and everybody had them. But at the same time, they did exist. Those cases were around where they could have went ahead and used those DVD cases instead of the jewel cases that are. Look at this. It's just bad, and then you have the hinge here. The whole design was just bad, Not even that, they're bulky and they take up space. For the collectors out there, they do take up a lot of shelf space. So I'll go ahead and get into that later in the video. But let's go ahead and check out what I went ahead and picked up. And the title in my hand is one of the first ones, Johnny Bazooka Tone on the Sega Saturn. Never got a chance to play this. Looking forward to going ahead and doing that. The plot is extremely corny. The soundtrack, whoever composed it, looks to be just as corny as well. So I have no expectations for this game, but it's a game that I've been looking for the Sega Saturn library for quite some time, so I'm very happy to have it. Next, we have NBA Jam Tournament Edition. This game I had a lot of fun playing on Sega Genesis. You grew up in the 90s and you lived around a pizzeria of any kind. This was one of the games that was in that pizzeria. It was either this one, Mortal Kombat, or Street Fighter. And I wouldn't go to that pizzeria unless I had one of those arcade units. This game is just one of those games you could just pick up at any moment of the day, play for a couple hours, and just get an extreme amount of enjoyment out of it. So I'm happy to have it in the collection. Next, we have Skeleton Warriors. This is an interesting game. This is one of the first games developed by Neversoft Entertainment. I think they went on to make the Abe's Odyssey franchise. I'm not too sure. If I'm mistaken, please go ahead and correct me in the comment section down below. But it's another game that I need for my Sega Saturn collection. Out of all the consoles I have currently, the Sega Saturn is one of the consoles that I'm hoping that I could get the complete collection for. I off the top of my head, I don't know how many titles there are exactly that were for North America. I'm not counting Japan or Europe or anything like that, but I do want a complete North American collection if I can. So that's on the list of things I want to do in this hobby. Next, another fun game, and looks to be complete, which I'm very thankful for, is Clockwork Knight 2. If you guys never played the Clockwork Knight series, it's incredibly fun. This ended up being, in my opinion, the unofficial mascot for the Sega Saturn, because when the console came out initially, there was no Sonic the Hedgehog launch title per se. So you had this game here, and it was lots of fun, and it came out the same year. I want to say it came out the same year as Toy Story, so they both went together, and I had a lot of fun playing it. Unfortunately, Clockwork Knight only had 4 levels, and that's due in part to the Sega Saturn coming out so abruptly and without warning to the general public, the media, and the developers as well. So I like to think Clockwork Knight and 2 are one game in the same. So very happy that I picked this up, especially complete. It's obviously missing the little foam buffer, but you could go ahead and do that on your own by going to a fabric store and just cutting it to the length that you desire. So, but I don't think I'm going to be that anal about the collection about it. So next we have another Sega Saturn exclusive, Sky Target. Looks to be a spin-off of Afterburner. From the back, it looks kind of interesting. You got a ranking mode, 12 levels, and you could pick from more than 5 fighter jets to play with. So that is fun. I cannot wait to play that. This one I've been looking for a while, even when the Saturn was in stores and the merch was in stores. For some reason I couldn't find the game, either because it wasn't that much in demand or they couldn't keep them on the shelves for that long. But I'm happy to say I have a copy of it now, and that is Mr. Bones. This came in 2 discs. Let's see if we can open one up here. Disc 1 and disc 2. And if I remember correctly, this is one of those games where you gotta match the buttons with certain movements that he does. So I want to say it's rhythm based, but it might not be. So I mean, the only way for me to find out is to go ahead and play. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do eventually. So far so good. We have about we have a couple left. Next one up is the Need for Speed by Road and Track. This is the first installment in the Need for Speed series, which initially came out on the 3DO. That's my first experience playing this game. Was at I remember going to a Sears and playing this, one of their demo unit 3DOs, and just being blown away by how amazing the gameplay was and the viewpoint. The favorite viewpoint that I had was the one when you're in the cockpit and you can see all the instrumentation. You know, you can see the dials, you can see the steering wheel, you can see the shifter changing from one gear to another. It was fun. I had fun playing it for sure. So I knew when I found out that it came out for the Saturn, I just had to have it. Next, this one, I bought this brand new. And somewhere along the way, I either lost it or it got stolen. But I always had a lot of great times playing this game. That is Last Bronx, another Sega Saturn exclusive. If I could say anything about this game, I would put it down as a fusion between Virtua Fighter and a little sprinkle of Soul Calibur in there too, because you have a lot of weapon-based combat in this game. It's not used excessively, but they like to mix it in. You got your grapple moves, you got your parries, you got your combos and your juggles that you can put together. It's just an all-around great game, and if you haven't played it, you need to go ahead and do yourself a favor and pick this up and check it out. Especially if you're into Virtua Fighter, especially if you're into Soul Calibur or Tekken, those kind of games, you're gonna enjoy this, definitely. And I have one game loose here, is Tempest 2000. If you guys remember, this was a launch title for the Atari Jaguar, which had a lot of critical acclaim. I never got to play it on the Jaguar because I only knew one guy that had a Jaguar, and for some reason he didn't have this game. So, OG, if you're watching, why didn't you get this game? But it was a fun game from what I saw and what I read in the magazine reviews, and now I have a chance to play it on the Sega Saturn. And what I'm hoping is that there's a graphical upgrade from the Jaguar version, but that's gonna remain to be seen. I'll go ahead and give it a shot and play it one of these days to see what's what. So, and what I did with the cases that were broken on certain titles, for some reason I don't have the other ones here, but trying to look around how to see them. I had, he gave me a couple of titles that were loose, and I went ahead and did a DVD case conversion on them. I'll go ahead and leave the link to the site that I used to go ahead and download those covers. It's easy to use, and it's free. And if it's free, it is for me. That's the saying I have. And for some reason, my inkjet wasn't up to the task of printing these out as correct as I wanted them to. So they're gonna look faded. They're gonna look faded. They're gonna look shitty. But the cool thing about that site that I'm gonna refer to you in the description area at the end of the video is you can go ahead and download all those images to an external memory or whatever the hell it's called, and you can take that to a Staples or a Kinko's or Office Max, and they can go ahead and print those out for you, and you can cut them very minimal and they will fit right in the DVD case. One of those titles was Wing Arms. I got it loose. I don't really care if it came with a manual or not. I'm not gonna be that much of an asshole about it if it doesn't come with a manual, because I had a lot of good times playing this game, so I'm very happy that I got it. But if you can see it, the label's a little faded, but for being able to fit in a DVD case and not being able to, you know, and having the peace of mind, just having the peace of mind of knowing that this is not going to happen again, is good. And on top of that, the cherry on top is you get to have the extra shelf space that you want by doing the conversion from this thick case to this not as thick but a little thinner DVD case. So I got that. Another game I got loose is Black Dawn, which my copier wants to make Grey Dawn for some reason. There's a copy that I made of Skeleton Warriors. Looks awful. NBA Jam Tournament Edition, Last Bronx, Need for Speed, and another loose game that I'm very happy to have, Street Fighter Zero, or as us Americans like to call it, Street Fighter Alpha, Warrior's Dreams. A lot of fun times playing Street Fighter on the Sega Saturn. Any Capcom game, any SNK game that was on the Saturn, I enjoyed immensely. So that's it, pretty much, guys. I'm very happy with the way things turned out. I wasn't happy at first because the way it came to me, it was just bad. And I'll go ahead and probably get a little more in depth on that as far as the shipping is concerned in the VGF Tech episode, because I feel as if it's one of those things that's common sense, but at the same time it needs to be talked about, because you have issues like this, or you have issues where the package is dropped off in inclement weather, snowstorm or thunderstorm or anything like that. You need to know how to cover your bases and make sure that you get what you wanted out of any trade situation that you're involved in. So I'm hoping to go ahead and get into that eventually, not on this channel, but on my VGF Tech series. I hope to get into that at some point in time. But that's about it, guys. I want to thank you for coming by, checking out my channel. Like, rate, comment, subscribe, all that usual crap. And that's it. Until next time, take care. Don't get caught slipping, and happy hunting.